Hello, you beautiful Life Path 2 person. Welcome to your overview for your numerology and tarot reading with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. I just want to say a huge thank you so much to all of you that have supported my work throughout 2023. For those of you that have been with me for longer than that, it really does mean the absolute world to me. For those of you that like, that share, that subscribe, that have supported this channel in growing, in reaching more people, but also who have, just really supported little old me. It really does mean the absolute world, and I cannot thank you from the bottom of my heart, from my heart to yours. I thank you so much, and I really hope that these continue to serve you. And thank you so much for all of you that came back month by month, every 3 months, etc., just to check in and say, this is how this has played out for me. I absolutely love it when you guys do that, and it really does mean the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. Let's get into what 2024 has in store for you, my dear Life Path 2 person. So for you guys, in terms of its overarching energy, this 8-year, life in general is going to be a year that, like this year is going to be a year that requires you to do things that you've never done before. It might also be a year that pushes you out of your comfort zone, especially because there's going to be new people, new connections that are coming in that allow you to kind of get excited and also get clear on things that you really want or need to change in some regard. So I absolutely love this for you. The vibe in the air is kind of try it and see. And it basically says, like, see what you feel like doing, and then pivot when you need to, right? So what usually works up until now isn't really going to take you any further. So you're going to find that you like this year, it's not going to cut it. You might need to stand alone a little more as well in some way, shape or form, whatever that means to you. When it comes to love and connections, it's like you're being asked to give yourself over to new and exciting ways to connect to people. It does suggest for some of you, like what you usually consider good or great in terms of dating or relationships or the types of people that you date, this year you might find you have nothing in common with them, or you don't desire that. You want something completely different. Whereas you might find as well that you want more time for yourself. For some of you, if you're partnered, it's going to be all about how you change it up, how you spice it up, how you bring new things in. If you are looking to date this year, it kind of feels like it's a bit more of a self-centered vibe. And so if you feel that that is the case and you resonate with that, when you find yourself getting into potential new relationship situations, let the other person know, this is kind of where I'm at right now and probably for the rest of the year. When it comes to your money and your finances, this year is good for setting new targets when it comes to your resources. And it's a great year for you to consider what it is that you want to achieve on that material level. Where are you heading towards or away from that? And it's like the trend with this is towards stretch goals for the year when it comes to your finances. When it comes to your work, it's time to bring fresh ideas, to forge new teams and connections. I wouldn't be surprised for if old work friends and colleagues are kind of leaving or falling by the wayside this year. I also wouldn't remember, like, it might feel like almost a little bit lonely in some regards. And there might be a need as well, especially for some of you, where you're needing to train new people or connect with different departments that you haven't had to interact with before through or in the course of your duties. Whatever happens, this is kind of new era stuff, especially, we've got the eclipses now in new signs. When it comes to your health, have you always wanted to try some kind of weird and wonderful therapy or some kind of funky medicine or something that's considered like a little bit out there? This is your year to do it. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor or a medical professional, so always defer to that. But this is a year where you can get a little bit out of the box with it. All right, this is a year where you get to expand your horizons and to do it in kind of stellar fashion. Right, you could be trying all manner of weird and wonderful lotions and potions, and in general your energy levels will definitely be up this year, so you're going to need to find ways to manage that energy, and maybe not necessarily by questioning everything as you usually do, but because it's going to waste your time and your energy. So this is more about being targeted and focused with what you do, rather than sort of flip-flopping between various different things. But definitely do try things on for size and see if it feels like a little bit of you, especially if it's something you've looked into a lot, something that you've researched the shit out of and now feel like, yeah, you know what, I think this might be the time. With that said, take care and let's get into your month by month tarot breakdown. Take care. I'll see you soon. Hello, you wonderful Life Path 2 person. Welcome to your 12 month by month tarot breakdown. Let's get straight into it. So before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So you're going to get 2 cards per month, your destiny card direction, and also it's worth mentioning that as we come into January, Mercury is going to be retrograde, but it finishes that retrograde on the 2nd of January. So it's not really as slow or heavy a start as we had to 2023 or anywhere near as confusing. It's more just a case of we've got this sort of lingering after effects, if you like. So your first card out kind of typifies the year that you're going to have, and you have the Moon card, right? So very, very interesting. This is going to be a deeply reflective year for a lot of you. This might actually be a year where a lot of you are taking stock of where you're at in life and where you've been, right? Now, as you come into January, there's a lot of really deep thought about where you're at right now, where you want to take your life, what you envision for your life moving forward. I love this for you. Because your life path number is actually ruled by the moon, this means that in a way you kind of show up in your own energy. Now, as if that wasn't enough, Pluto on the 21st of January is coming into the sign of Aquarius. It's going to be there right the way through till September, and then it's coming in full time for the next 20 years when we get to November. Now, that being said, if you want to find out how that speaks to you and your sign, you can get your year ahead Astro Tarot Scope for $7.99 a piece, or you can get them as a bundle for $49.99. They make really good Christmas presents and all of that good stuff. And you can also grab your Sun, Moon and Rising as a bundle as well. Well, you just grab them as upsells. All right, so it's all there for you. I've smoothed and streamlined the process for you this year, so check it out. And thank you so much for allowing me to sell you things from time to time. This is, after all, how I do my business. Now, for your direction card, let's clarify. What is that Moon card really trying to tell you about the month of January, right? It is, I think this is, you guys come into the year and you are really very focused on, you know, like, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? What's going on for me? And you've got this with the Temperance card, right? So first of all, for some of you, this is a time of healing, right? This is a time where you are really very focused on your own health. Where it could be that you are, for some of you, maybe you come into the year and you're just getting rid of a bit of a sniffle. For others, this is almost like you say to yourself, you know what, I am totally ready to do something this year that takes me in a really different direction. Or for some of you, you might be saying to yourself in January, this is the year where I find that work-life balance. This is the year where I kind of really am able to step away from work or my business or whatever it is that you have. Another way that this potentially shows up, I touch wood and I hope I'm wrong on this front, if you've had a health issue that is a recurring or a chronic problem, January is a month to watch out for. And I have to say, on the wider world stage, January itself is going to be a bit of a weird sort of interesting month. All right. Now, as we come into February, you have the Hermit card. So you're pulling away from the world here, right? February, I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. I think it's more a case of there's something that you're trying to figure out. There's something that you're trying to puzzle out. And in order to really kind of get to the root of it or to really understand it, you're having to pull away, right? You're kind of almost saying to yourself, okay, you know what? I need to get clear on this, right? The other thing with the Hermit card, if you've been with me long enough, you will have heard me say this many times. The Hermit shows up when the High Priestess, your intuition, has a message for you. And in order to hear that, sometimes we've got to shut the world and all of the noise and the hubbub out. Finally, you could be going on some kind of journey and or quest in the month of February, and you've got this with the Death card. So look, I really hope I'm wrong on this front, but the Hermit card with the Death card can sometimes show up as a the death of an elderly person, right? doesn't necessarily have to be in your family. This could be on the wider world stage. It's possible. I do, however, feel like this will be within your personal sphere. It tends to show up as things like great aunts and uncles, grandparents, people that are, you know, as I affectionately like to say, in the winter of their lives. This could be, you know, one of those moments. It could also be, because the Hermit card represents loneliness sometimes, not always, the Death card with the Hermit card, this could be the end of you being alone. Whether this is that you find a partner, whether it's that you find a group of friends or you find a tribe, this could be literally the death of loneliness. So that's another way that we could see this for you. Now, as we come into March, we have the first eclipse of the year. So they start nice and early this year, right? No messing about. On the 25th of March, we've got a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. What was happening for you in October of 2023? Because whatever was set into motion by the Libra new moon solar eclipse is likely to be sort of showing its fruits, and you know, it's going to show you at this time what was set into motion around that time. Now, this is a south node eclipse, so and it's a full moon lunar eclipse. So this is a real sort of grand completion point. Let's see. For this, you have the Faith card. So this is actually the Hierophant. This may actually be a time where you are very focused on your spirituality. It might even be a time where you are sort of looking at and leaning more on your faith, or potentially questioning that faith, or maybe for a select few of you as well, you're adapting that faith. There might be something new that you have to bring into it to help it feel more complete for you personally. The other thing with the Hierophant card, this is potentially where you're dealing with a bigger or a larger institution. And you've got this with the Two of Wands, right? So this is money, right? This is dealing with a financial institution. So for a select few of you, again, I really hope I'm wrong, because it's not the nicest way to achieve, you know, resources, but this could literally spell out an inheritance. Because it's the Two of Wands with the Hierophant, the chances are that there'll be something going on with the paperwork, like the, you know, what do they call it? The executor or probate, all of those kinds of things might come into this. Just a possibility, not a guarantee. But, you know, if you've got financial decisions and applications and stuff that need to be made, March is actually a pretty strong time to do it, because the Two of Wands has a very affluent energy about it. And for some of you, you could be initiating a new cycle of some sort. Now, April is a packed month. It's probably the biggest month of the year, I have to say. On April the 8th, we've got the new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries, right? So we've got another fresh start sort of point. On top of that, we've got Jupiter and Uranus are going to come into a conjunction on the 18th. So it starts on the 18th, it runs till about the 21st, right? And this is a pretty big deal because it's a once in 14 year transit. So this happens once every 14 years, and obviously it's always in a different sign. So this is a big deal, right? You got to find a way to tap into that or to use it, whatever it means for your sun, moon, or ascendant. If you want to find out, you know what to do. You can get that on the link in the description box below. Also, as if that wasn't enough, we also have a Mercury retrograde. Now that will start on April the 2nd and it will finish on April the 25th. And this is taking place in the sign of Aries. So as you can see already, right, April is a pretty big month. If you want to find out how to navigate it, you know what to do. All right, so for this, you have the Emperor card. So Aries energy is going to be pervading at this time, and for you especially, this is a pretty big deal. There's something about March and April where you are looking at your commitments, the institutions, the larger bodies and organizations or group associations that you have. That Emperor cards also suggest that there's something about this where you're having to either command authority or you're potentially even having to pull rank. This is powerful stuff. Like, this is really, really powerful. So for this, you have the King of Swords, right? So when it comes to any and all paperwork in the month of April, check it, double check it, and get a second opinion. The reason this is going to be important is because you've got that Mercury retrograde. There's a lot of big energies happening at this time. And look, The King of Swords is usually an air sign male, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. But the King of Swords coupled with the Emperor, this is somebody who absolutely knows their stuff. And I gotta say, I actually think this is going to be something that's happening on the wider world stage, maybe with a monarch, potentially with a head of state, etc. But this is, and because of all of the other energies that are around at this time, I actually feel like this is the power of the changing of the guard in some way. This is some powerful person is pushed forward in some way, and it's because they're replacing someone or something else. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, obviously April is one of the challenge months, right? Like I've talked about this in all of them. So January, April, May and July, those are the challenge months of the year itself. How this plays out for you, yeah. And on a more personal note, any paperwork and documentation that you are dealing with in the month of April, check it, double check it, and get a second opinion. It looks like you find somebody who really is very good at what they do, but because of the massive sort of energies that are taking place, and that's even without the Mercury retrograde, just be sure to cross your T's and dot your I's. Now, in May, Jupiter, the Lord of growth and expansion, is coming into the sign of Gemini. This is a once in 12-year transit. This happens once every 12 years, right? So think back to around 12 years ago. What was happening for you? What was really prominent or growing for you at that time? You're likely to be revisiting something similar, but on a different or higher octave or level. Now, I actually really like this. Jupiter's gonna, boom, you got the Sun card. Very interesting, because Life Path 1, with a completely different deck I might add, also got the Sun card in this position, which I actually think means that on the wider world stage, May is going to see the reveal of something. It's going to be that something is illuminated in the month of May that actually maybe potentially is very good for the world, but also has a disruptive feel to it. Now, Jupiter's moving out of Taurus, where it's inflated all of our prices around food, gas, oil, all of the resources that we get from the earth, basically. As it comes into Gemini, it's no longer going to be about those things. It's going to be more about education and learning and communication. I'm expecting this actually to, communication is already very fast in this day and age, but I'm expecting it to go super lightning fast as once Jupiter moves into Gemini, and it's also going to become more prominent and more important. Things like the media outlets, there's going to be new ones that get bigger. So we've got this with the Queen of Wands. A Leo woman may very well feature for you over the course of May, right? So the Sun is obviously just the Sun, but the Sun rules Leo. Queen of Wands, a fire sign woman, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This could be somebody that helps you or assists you, especially because Jupiter's making that move this month. This could be somebody that really supports you in some way. And because you've got the Sun card here, this is someone that really helps you establish or re-establish or redefine your personal boundaries. What I love about this is you have a really dynamic energy to push something forward this month. And actually you're shining, right? And in a month where I know that this is going to be probably one of the challenge months this year, so I'm intrigued by this. Now, when we come into June, you have the High Priestess, right? So hidden things revealed, new things coming to light, new information that finds you. With the High Priestess, your own intuition tends to heighten as well. You've got this with the Seven of Pentacles. So one of the characteristics that I can tell you about the woman that you are working with, connecting with in the month of May, she may be somebody that wears a veil, she may be somebody that wears a hijab. For a select few of you, this may be, and I'm speaking directly to those of you that have been waiting for a very long time to get married. June looks like the perfect month, right? Like this looks like the month where you can go ahead with it. It actually looks like one of the sort of more quiet months of the year. So I'm kind of intrigued. Well, April, May, June, April, May and July actually I think are the challenge months. But yeah, June looks like a good time for that. On a more personal level, outside of sort of marriage and relationships, the Seven of Pentacles is about patience. The High Priestess is hidden things revealed, or things that we keep secret, which suggests that June, keep your mouth shut. This is a month for you to bide your time. There might be something that you're burning to say, burning to speak out on, or to share, or to get out there into the world. June is not the moment, all right? This is a time where you have to exercise extreme patience. For July, you have the Wheel of Fortune. So potentially traveling here looks to be a pretty decent month, I have to say, right? This is a change point. Whenever the Wheel of Fortune shows up, you're either getting the results of something, or you're seeing a diversion in the road where something is changing. You've got an upswing in your luck, I actually think, here. And to clarify on this, you've got the Two of Pentacles. So this is where your finances, right? So whatever you were doing in March around money and finances, whatever, especially if there's a delay of some sort around resources, July is going to be a great month because things actually move forward when it comes to your money, your finances, and your resources. Because it's the Two of Pentacles though, you will need to be smart around money. You will need to keep to a budget, especially for those of you that are traveling, and even more especially for those of you that are traveling on let's say you've got a 3-month visa, right? So you're going to, I don't know, Australia or South America, or you're coming to Europe for 3 months. This suggests Two of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, you're going to have a great time. Two of Pentacles, you need to watch the money, all right? It looks like you might be overspending, or maybe you haven't budgeted well enough for something, or maybe potentially you find it harder to grab sort of some kind of work or whatever, you know, in order to do things differently. Now, as we come into August, we've got the second Mercury retrograde of the year. This one takes place in the sign of Leo. This is happening from the 4th of August right through to the 29th of August. Now, it's a pretty big deal because it's staying within the sign and you know, with this, you've got the Magician card. So Mercury is the magician. Yes, Mercury is the magician, but it is retrograde. And so the magician tends to represent really powerful people, people at the height of their game, could represent you being at the peak of your game. Because Mercury is retrograde, that magician card potentially has an element of the trickster about it. So you really do need to watch communication at this time. And you've got this with the Knight of Pentacles. Whatever plans you are enacting at this time, just make sure that you have your T's crossed and your I's dotted. Same rule as April, only this time it's more about something that you're doing for the longevity of your future. So August could actually be a really good month for you to establish an idea, but only if this is you're building on something that you've already started or sort of is already a prominent part of your life. As we come into September, we have the first eclipse of the new cycle. This is a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. This happens on the 18th of September. So pay attention to this, because even though it's a full moon eclipse, which is effectively a big completion point, it is a north node eclipse, which means in some way, shape or form, this eclipse highlights to you what this year or what this eclipse cycle of Pisces and Virgo is actually going to be about for you over the course of the next 18 months after that. For this, you have the Justice card, right? So potentially signing documents and contracts in this month. I will say, if you're committing to something, just be mindful of what it is. You've got this with the Five of Pentacles. I'm going to be really honest with you. I would say if you are signing any contracts, especially big financial commitments, September is probably not the month to do it, all right? It could end up costing you way more than you expect or desire. It could potentially, right? And, you know, it's the Five of Pentacles, that's a loss of money. With the Justice card, this is a contract that goes bad, something that you sign or commit to that either doesn't pay out, doesn't deliver, doesn't do what it says on the tin, and you end up losing money because of it. I touch wood, I hope I'm wrong. The beauty of having these readings is that you can, when you see this in your life and it shows up for you in September, you can really, really scrutinize it that much more. You can get a second opinion. You can be more informed about the decisions that you're making, right? At this time as well, obviously, because we've got an eclipse, Yeah, I'm just going to say I'm no to a big financial contract at this time. You're likely to lose money for it. Um, all right, as we come into October, you have the Judgment card. So this is a clearing of the decks. Now, as if that wasn't enough, we have the second eclipse, which is on the 2nd of October. That is a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Libra. This is effectively one of the ones that's really closing out this cycle for you. So really think back, right? What was happening for you at this time last year? And then also around that March eclipse as well. You're going to be continuing on and, you know, starting to wrap up that story around this time. And the Judgment card is the perfect card to do it, because it means that whatever you're completing at this time, it really is shut off or, you know, localized. It's kind of like, you know, when you discover a leak in the hose pipe and you stop the water going to that bit so that you can fix it. This is kind of like that. For this, you have the Nine of Cups. That is some kind of really powerful healing vibe, but it's also a long-held goal or dream, potentially one that stretches right back into your late, you know, into your early 20s or late teens. This can be something from many years ago that you really wanted, that maybe you thought would never happen, was never possible for you, would never come about. Maybe you didn't have the opportunity. Well, now you absolutely do. Like, this is a chance for you to really get something that your heart has truly desired for a very long time. It may have, I mean, you know, whatever the eclipse is for you, whatever that represents, if you want to find out what that means for your sun, moon or ascendant sign, you can get those on the link in the description box below. For November, you have one of my favorite cards across all of my decks. You have the Tree of Life. So this card represents divine intervention and assistance, and it's a beautiful energy because it means that the heavens, the universe, is really showing up for you. You have support here on that divine level, which is great. Now, as if that wasn't enough, Mercury is going to be doing his thing again once more at this point in the sign of Sagittarius, but it starts, I think it's like the 25th of November and it goes through to the 16th of December. So be mindful of that. To clarify on this, you've got the Emperor. We've seen the Emperor before in April. So whatever's happening for you in April, you may be concluding here in November, or it might be an echo of. It's also potentially that you are connecting with a legal professional, or maybe some really powerful, authoritative kind of person wants to sort of help and assist you. And this will feel like divinely guided or inspired help, right? So just to give you an example, and I hope this isn't the case for a lot of you, let's say you do make a business deal of some sort or whatever in September, it goes sour, you lose a lot of money, you know, you go through the process of closing it down, and then you meet somebody that says, oh, did you know that you could sue or you could possibly get your money back for that? And they go about helping you. Doesn't have to be that, but that's one way that this could like literally like play out on a literal level. But this is you connecting to a place or a person that really has been sent to you by the universe to assist you in some way. Now, as if that wasn't enough, on December, so I can't remember what the dates for it, but in December, Mars will go retrograde in the sign of Leo, and it will reverse back into the sign of Cancer. But it won't end Cancer until much later. So I will talk about that at that time, because obviously that goes into 2025. For December, you have the Chariot card. So potentially traveling here, but it could also be a very fast, very powerful, very dynamic month. I will say to, you know, you've got this with the Hierophant card. So this is potentially where you are connecting with a bigger, again, larger institution. It also suggests if you're taking on a larger institution, you've got the Chariot card, which means you win. So if you are going in for a court case or any form of legal battle, etc., December is where you get good news about it, where it's kind of finishing up. And I like that for you, right? On another note, if it's not any of these things, This could literally be for some of you that you are looking to purchase or convert an old church or an old barn. It's like you're taking some sort of old piece of architecture and you're turning it into something new. You could be renovating something. For some of you, this could be a car. For some of you, it could be a property. For others, it could be a workspace, all of those things. So really, really interesting. And your key to the year card from the Human Design Oracle deck is the Gate 26 and Greater Good. And the message behind this card is, whenever you are doing something that benefits other people, and you're doing, like, the example on here is, I don't know if you can see it, there's a seagull that sat on top of the elephant, and the seagull eats the parasites and the insects that fly around the eyes of the elephant, and the elephant gets clean eyes, and you know the seagull gets a meal, right? So everybody's happy. So this basically says, over the course of this year, whatever you're doing, as long as it's good for other people, you yourself will benefit and you will flourish and thrive. Now, your challenge months for this year, I gotta say January and February, they do look like challenge months to me. Also, another challenge month, potentially, I mean, September, that's definitely a challenge month. You know, the rest of them don't look too bad, to be fair. Power months, I really like March. I actually do like April. May is obviously awesome because you've got the Sun card. I like July as long as you're smart with your money. August, I think, is neutral. And then November and December, I think, are also power months for you. So all in all, not a bad year. So with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. I love that you guys come back to these every month, every quarter, every 6 months to kind of check in, to, you know, let me know in the comments how they shape up for you. It really does mean the world. And remember, I have a playlist that on YouTube that is free, so you can check that out to find out what your personal year vibration is as well, to give you even more knowledge and information to be armed for a great 2024. With that said, all of my blessings, take care, and I'll see you soon.